How's it going, everybody? CJ here, back with another video. You know what time of the year it is. It is spoiler season once again. And so with spoiler season comes my first thoughts. So we're going to kick off the first thoughts series for M21 with a doozy. This card is probably one of the best cards White has gotten in a long time for Commander. It's very, very good. And I'm going to be talking about it as a Commander. I honestly think it's better off inside every white deck that's every white deck that's like 2 colors or mono white, most 3 colors. It should be in most white decks. It's like almost Smothering Tide level, probably like Broodmoth level. Like it's an auto include in most white decks, and that is obviously Mangara the Diplomat. So that'll be right there. I think it'll be right over here. Hopefully it's not over here. I think it's here. So Mangara, as a commander, has a lot of good things it can do. It provides you card draw in white. And it also is a 2/4 lifelink body, which is, I mean, lifelink, it's kind of just stapled onto it. It doesn't, I'm surprised it even has it, but the other 2 abilities are awesome. Being able to draw cards when creatures attack you, and being able to draw cards when your opponents cast spells. It's very interesting though for white, because typically mono white, you're going to want to run a lot of stacks pieces, and this is kind of like a stacks piece, but it kind of works inversely with other stacks pieces. Because like if you have Rule of Law in play, you'll never be able to draw a card off the second ability. And if you have like Ghostly Prison and stuff like that, you won't be able to draw cards with the first ability. So it's a really, really weird type of stacks. It's interesting. And so you're not going to really want to build a stacks deck around it. You almost want to build like a group hug deck, but not really. So what you're gonna, some stuff that I want to talk about first is we're just gonna go right down the card. I mean, all right, we'll start first text. We'll do each set of text in a row here. Starting off with the lifelink, you could do life gain strategies with this card. Not the best way to go, but something like Dawn of Hope isn't bad. There's much better life gain commanders out there, so I wouldn't deal with any of that. Maybe just some that really work well with other parts of the card. I couldn't really find any off first glance, but yeah. So second part of the ability. Whenever an opponent attacks with creatures, if 2 or more creatures attack you or planeswalkers you control, draw a card. So we got a lot of stuff that works with this card. First card I want to talk about is Angelica Arbiter. This card actually works really, really well with both sides. So each opponent who casts a spell this turn can attack with creatures, and each opponent who attacks with creatures can cast spells. So you got to choose one or the other, and it kind of forces people to go all out. Like if somebody attacks, they're going to want to attack with more things because they can't cast spells. So like they just want to do as much as possible during their turn. So maybe you'll get an extra attacker in and get to draw a card. But if your opponent doesn't attack and they cast a spell, they're going to try to cast more spells probably, because they can't do anything else with their turn. So you'll get an extra card draw for that. It just kind of works towards pushing people into the direction of getting you to draw cards. Next card I want to talk about is Duelist Heritage. This card is pretty cool. It has very good political aspect to it. So when your opponents attack, you can be like, yo, you can swing those 2 dorks at me, I won't block, and I'll give your big creature double strike when it's hitting that person. And they'll be like, yeah, sure. Just get commander damage towards somebody, while you can draw a card and take a couple damage. It works very well for politics, and it could work very, very well in this deck, letting you be able to draw cards while getting on people's good sides. Next card I want to talk about is Gideon Jura. This card's pretty interesting. So if there's an opponent that has a bunch of small creatures out, you can plus Gideon Jura on them, and they are forced to attack with their creatures at Gideon. And if they have 2 or more creatures, you're going to be drawing a card off of that. So I think that this is like one of the best spots for Gideon to fit into a deck. There's not that many decks that Gideon Jura can really work well in. Next card I want to talk about is like Contested Warzone and Coveted Jewel. Both these cards, like Duelist Heritage, work really well politically, as they switch sides whenever somebody else deals damage. So you can work politically, talk about it like, I'll let you take the coveted jewel so you have a mana rock and draw some cards. If you let me take it back after during my turn. And they're like, yeah, sure. And the thing is, if they swing it, you gotta have them swing at 2 people, and you get to draw an extra card out of it, so you break parity slightly there. Same thing with like contested Warzone, where it's a land, it just ramps, so you can switch back and forth, and you're getting a little extra out of it with the card draw. So you can also do things like that with Monarchy. So like Palace Jailer, just make it so, yeah, you can attack me, 2 creatures, take Monarchy, I get to draw a card, and then take it back after, and you get to draw a card at the end of turn 2. Just a way to break parity. And it's actually, I think it's a very, very good, like, I think Mangara's going to be a very good political deck because of cards similar to this. Crawl Space, that's a great card to have in this deck because unlike Ghostly Prison and such, you're still going to be able to get attacked by 2 creatures without any mana restrictions, but you just can't get hit by more than that. So you'll be able to get hit for the minimum to draw cards, which is ideal. Helm of Awakening. This goes towards the second ability, really. The second ability being whenever an opponent casts their second spell, you get to draw a card. So Helm of Awakening makes their spells makes everybody's spells cost less, and so that means you will be able to draw extra cards because people will have like 1 extra mana or 2 extra mana to be able to feed into an extra spell, a second spell during their turn. So that way, you're drawing cards. I think it's probably, there's not many effects like that inside the game, and I'm pretty sure it's the only effect in the colors, but it's probably a very good include, especially if you're going the more political and group huggy route. If you want to continue with that group huggy route, stuff like Gyrupa Orrery, Anvil Bogarden, and Howling Mine are very good cards in this deck because they help fuel everybody, including your opponents. But it makes it so your opponents have enough cards so that way you're going to be getting the card draw off the second spell repeatedly, which is pretty key. It's helping you break parity off of these things. Like things that are seemingly for everybody, you get to break parity with because of your commander being Mangara. And some other cards I just want to talk about in this video. The Mangara, the Diplomat, is actually a new card for Mangara, who was in a previous card, Mangara of Coriander. Pretty sure that's what it was. So you can throw that in the deck. It's a cool card. That's actually a very cool card. It's got some very cool synergies. Like you can tap it to exile something and then sack it, so that way it goes to the graveyard, and then you can reuse it with like Sun Titan or something like that. It's pretty cool, but it's obviously not what we're really talking about here. It fits into the deck though, just being like a good removal piece for white. Alhambra to Archive. You're going to be drawing cards. Why not draw 2 cards instead of 1? And, I mean, it even has lifelink, so you can just gain double life instead of gaining 2, you gain 4, whatever it blocks or attacks. Which, I mean, that's just a little bonus. Farsight Mask. Farsight Mask is pretty cool in the deck because people are going to be you're going to be trying to get people to hit you. You're going to be wanting to have people swing at you. This way, when people hit you, you get to draw even more cards as long as it's untapped, which it typically will be. I don't see a reason why it would get tapped. But yeah, it's a good way to draw an additional card there. It's a lot of mana, but the way the deck is going to be built, it'll be triggering enough that it'll be worthwhile. Or at least it should be. And then something like Strionic Resonator, so you can copy the card draw ability. So, I mean, 3 mana to draw a card in white is still pretty good. Unfortunately for white, that's pretty good. So, worthwhile to put into the deck. What else did I want to talk about here? I mean, you're going to need like Land Tax, Smothering Tide, your classic mono white staples, Swords to Plowshares, Path to Exile, all that jazz. But also Knowledge Pool. So this Knowledge Pool will ensure that you draw a card every time an opponent casts a spell. Just every time your opponent casts a spell during each turn, because they'll cast their spell, it'll get knowledge pooled, then they get to cast a new spell. That's 2 spells being cast, you draw a card. So that's a really good way to just ensure the card draw. Every time anyone casts a spell, you're drawing a card unless it's like they've already cast one during the turn. Like if they cast out a turn, you're drawing a card. Instant speed, you get to draw a card. Doesn't matter. Real good. I think that's probably a staple in this deck. I don't see how you can run this deck without it, honestly. And so yeah, that's what I got from Mangara. If you guys enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed the series, remember to comment down below. Comment down below what you're going to be doing with Mangara. If you're going to build a list with Mangara, I want to see it. Put in link it down below, and let me know if I missed anything that you personally would add into the decks. Subscribe to the channel. If you really want to support the channel, you can check me out on Patreon. You can join us in the Discord. It's always a good time in there. We play online a decent amount, so we can get you into games. It'll be fun. You can actually play with us that way. And we will see you guys next time. Peace out, everybody.